everybody. It is time for the rundown, the review, and the rating for AEW Forbidden Door 2024. We start with MJF versus Hechicero. We start with some chain wrestling from Hechicero. Then MJF, he stalls and plays to the crowd for a little bit before going for a handshake and, of course, kicking Hechicero in the gut like any good babyface would. This match spills to the outside where MJF throws Hechicero into the guardrail a couple times, and then we see a haluva kick into the front row. Once the action returns to the ring, we see Hechicero gaining the advantage, and he performs a corkscrew splash. Not very impressed with this guy so far. MJF would hit a pile driver in the next few moments. No cover, though. Then they would go into the corner where they would go for the spot, where they take the head and go 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10 into the turnbuckles. They somehow botched that. Don't know how you do that, but it looked like shit. Panama Sunrise by MJF. And then we get the 1, 2, 3. This match wasn't very long, and it wasn't very good. This match was, in my opinion, 1 star. I'm being generous. Dog shit start way to start the pay-per-view. Next. All right, everybody, it's time for match number 2. The Acclaimed versus the Elite in 6-man tag team action. Back and forth action to start the match with no advantage in the early going. Then we see a double scissor beat timbers on both Nick and Matt Jackson. Next comes a triple team on Caster. And we see a neck breaker. So far, the crowd is absolutely dead. The Bucks tried playing to the crowd a little bit to try to get them going, but nobody gives a shit. Some kicks and punches, and honestly, I'm starting to zone out a little bit in this match. We see a crossbody by Caster, and then a lukewarm instead of a hot tag to Bowens, who gets stopped right in his tracks by a rake of the back. Yes, that happened. We see a reverse TKO and a 2 count. Okada and Tanahashi are in the ring now to a small pop from the crowd. We get a mic drop from Okada, his flying elbow. No cover, though. The Bucks, they pump up their Reebok pumps. Super kicks for all. No cover. Let's see. Okada then does a beautiful drop kick. A Rainmaker on Tanahashi for the 1, 2, 3. The Elite win in another dog shit of a match. Another 1 star. Match number 3 is Danielson versus Shingo. The action is fast and furious to start. Shingo gets the advantage with a brutal-looking brainbuster on the outside, where we get a 9 count from the referee. Back and forth chops and uppercuts. Then we see some suplexes from Bryan, followed by a top rope suplex. Shingo is in an armbar, but gets to his feet and slams Bryan down to the mat. Superplex from Shingo. Lariat, we get a 2 count. Hard-hitting match so far. Shingo with some elbows to Bryan's head before a reversal into an armbar. Kick to the head and an exploder suplex from Bryan. Bryan with the running kick, and we get a 1, 2 kick out, 2 counts. The crowd is finally alive. This match is pretty good. Bryan starts kicking his fucking head in. Another armbar, and we get a submission. I'm giving this match 2.5 stars. It wasn't memorable, but it was the best one so far by far margin. Decent match. Let's go for the next one. All right, everybody. It is time for match number 4. Toni Storm, the AEW Women's Champion, versus Mina Shinokawa, the New Japan Strong Champion for the women. Now, granted, I'll be honest, I missed the first few minutes of this match, so we're joining in progress as they're in a figure 4 leg lock. Both ladies arise to their feet and start exchanging right hands. Shinokawa eventually gets the advantage with a DDT from the top rope, going for a 2 count. Toni gets the advantage again with a released German suplex and a hip attack, good for a 2 count as well. But Mina does not stay down for long. She hits a couple right hands, and then she hits her glamorous driver 2 count. This is actually a really decent match, I gotta say. They don't have a whole lot of time. It seems they're rushing around, but it's really, really good. We get a few headbutts and a release German suplex. Storm 0, 1, 2, 3. Tony Storm wins. So granted, I missed the first few moments of this match, but from what I did see, these ladies packed quite a punch in the minutes they had. So I'm actually going to give this match 2.5 stars. Not bad. Great job. On to the next one. Okay, everybody, it is time for match number 5. It is Orange Cassidy versus Zack Sabre Jr. Now, as you all know, I'm not a huge fan of the character of Orange Cassidy. I know he's a great talent, but his character drives me nuts sometimes. And I do like Zack Sabre Jr., so this match should be decent. Let's see. Zack shows off his wrestling skills in the early going, embarrassing Cassidy. My God, Zack Sabre Jr. looks great. He's tanned, he's built, he just looks amazing here. Looks to be in his prime. We have a Japanese stranglehold on Orange Cassidy where he eventually reverses. More wrestling, and Orange Cassidy is keeping up pretty well with Zack Sabre Jr. Very good stuff so far. Complete opposite from the Bryan Danielson and Shingo match that we saw earlier. There hasn't been one strike yet. There's some mind games being played, and both men separate to rethink their strategy. It's slow, but I personally like it. Zack Sabre Jr. gets the advantage and starts slapping on submission moves. The crowd is dead, but in my opinion, this is really good stuff. Zack Sabre Jr., he mocks Orange Cassidy with the kicks, his slow little bullshit kicks that Orange Cassidy does. Zack Sabre Jr. mocks him before he absolutely kicks Orange Cassidy's guts right into him. We get a dragon screw from Orange Cassidy, and he gains the advantage. We see some more chain wrestling, and Orange Cassidy hits another dragon screw. We see a Michinoku driver for a 2 count. Diving DDT off the top rope from Orange Cassidy on Zack Sabre Jr. Holy fucking shit, that looked awesome. Zack Sabre Jr. was like a lawn dart. He sold that like a champ. That was awesome. We get a 2 count. Eventually, Zack Sabre Jr. gains the advantage again and starts joint manipulating. So he's taking the fingers of Orange Cassidy and twisting them, break them. Looks gross. Really good stuff. This match is awesome, actually. And then we start seeing Orange Cassidy getting all fired up. This has been a no-nonsense Orange Cassidy. We're seeing a whole different side of his character that I like. We see about a series about 10 counters, just going back and forth. Everybody, the 2 superstars trying to get a pin, going back and forth. There's too much action to write down. It's absolutely crazy how much action is going on in this little sequence here. Eventually, Zack Sabre Jr. gets Orange Cassidy tied up like a pretzel. I mean, he is literally folded like it's gross. It's great looking, and he gets a submission. Fun match, really fun match. I'm gonna give this one. I was only going to give this one 3.5 stars because the crowd was absolutely dead, but fuck the crowd. This is a really good match. I'm giving it 4 stars. Next. Okay, everybody, it's time for match number 6, I do believe. It's Jericho and Big Bill and Jeff Cobb versus Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. More 6-man tag team action. Jericho immediately gets on the microphone and says to the crowd that he's the hometown hero for Long Island and that they don't actually want him to retire. Good stuff. The match starts with Jericho and Shibata exchanging chops and punches. Eventually, Cobb gets a tag into the match. Shortly after, Joe gets tagged in, and we get a bunch of meat chants from the crowd. Shoulder block and punches and an enziguri. Joe is doing Joe things before a rock bottom / spine buster by Cobb. That looked pretty cool. Hook will come in and Cobb just manhandles him. Hook, he'll be pretty good one day, but he needs to hit the gym. He's just too skinny. I know that's ironic coming from me, but Hook needs to put some meat on them bones. Let me see. Jericho gets back in and he hits a suplex and he tags out back to Big Bill. This is just your standard tag match at this point with everybody just going through the motions. We do get a standing moonsault from Cobb that looked pretty good. I gotta say, out of everybody in this match, Cobb does look the best. Let's see. We get a suplex followed by a senton by Joe for a 2 count. Hook with a Macho Man type sledgehammer from the top rope to the outside on Big Bill. We start getting 50-50 chants from the crowd. Half of them are saying, please retire. The other half is saying, you still got it. Good old AEW crowd. Code breaker on Hook for a 2 count. And then Hook eventually gets the advantage again with a T-bone and a Judas elbow. Jericho's own move on Chris Jericho, and he gets the pin for the 1-2-3. So Hook defeats Jericho in the 6-man tag team match with his own finishing move. Pretty cool. This match wasn't slow by any means, but it wasn't great. So I really can't give this match more than, oh my god, I'll be generous here, 2.5 stars. Next, it is time for match number 7, the ladder match for the TNT Championship. Lio Rush versus Mark Briscoe versus Dante Martin versus Jack Perry versus Takeshita versus El Fantasmo. Nothing of note really happens at first, just a bunch of kicks, punches, and setting up of the ladders. Lio Rush does some flips and climbs up the ladder, but he is stopped with a TKO, and he's actually driven through the ladder that's set up. Very nice in the corner. Takeshita, he throws a ladder at Dante Martin's head, and it looks like it actually takes his head off. It looks brutal. Then we see a brain buster on top of a ladder. Holy shit. Mark Briscoe, he actually has an insane spot coming up. Takeshita is on the outside of the ring. He's on top of a table. A ladder is on top of him. Briscoe, he runs over the top rope, does a flip, and just squishes Takeshita. It looks like his arm actually got entangled and looked like it was actually twisted. It looked pretty gross. Great spot, by the way. What happens next is Briscoe sets up a ladder on the ring apron itself, on the outside of the ring on the ring apron. He sets up a ladder. Someone puts Jack Perry on a table on the outside. Briscoe climbs on top of the ladder, and then all of a sudden we get another botch. He comes up short. Oh my god, it would have been such a good spot, but instead, as I said, he just comes up just short, and he just pretty much pushes Jack Perry off the table. Too bad. It was a great match up until that point. But then Takeshita, he saves the match again by a big knee on El Fantasmo, and then he does a blue thunder bomb off the ring apron through 2 tables on the outside. Absolutely insane. Then Jay Briscoe does a J driver on Takeshita through a ladder that was set up on the inside of the ring. But then Jack Perry takes out Briscoe, climbs the ladder, and wins the TNT Championship. Scapegoat, Jack Perry, your new champion. This was a match, that wasn't perfect by any means, but it had enough action and it had enough good spots to keep me thoroughly entertained. Even with the big botch, I'm going to give this match 3.5 stars, just because I'm generous. Next. Okay, match number 8. It is the TBS title versus the New Japan Strong Woman's title. Sorry, I got it wrong earlier with Shirakawa. She was actually the Stardom champ. So this is Mercedes Moné, TBS champion, versus Stephanie Vacker, the New Japan Strong Woman's champion. Title for title. Here we go. A little back and forth action to start. Vacker with an impressive springboard crossbody to the outside. Vacker with a body scissors into a unique submission move. I'm not sure how it's possible though, but this match, as slow as it, like, it's not slow, but it's not fast. But this match just feels rushed. I don't know what it is. It's weird. It just feels rushed, even though it's like a more medium paced match. But either way, the crowd is fucking dead. There's not a sound coming out of them. Monet takes control with some knee strikes in the corner and a tornado DDT for a 2 count. There's not much going on in this match, and at this point, I'm just begging for it to end already. I really need to take a shit. I just want this match to end. Oh my god. We didn't get a botched sequence from Monet. This is just a sloppy match. There's lots of talking between the ladies and the referee. I don't know what's going on. But Vacker gets a crossface on Monet. Monet reverses the crossface, and the fans are booing it. They're booing Monet. They're really giving it to her. Every move that she does, they're booing her, and they're cheering for Stephanie Vacker. Monet eventually hits a couple of backstabbers, and the crowd is really giving it to Monet now. The announcers are trying to make it seem like it's a Boston versus New York thing, but we all know it's because Mercedes Moné is dog shit. We actually get a nice sequence at the end leading into a moneymaker crossface submission, and we have a new New Japan Strong Champion in Mercedes Moné. This match fucking sucked. 1.5 stars. I'm gonna go take that shit. Next. Okay, next we have Naito versus Moxley for the IWGP Championship. Naito and his bug guy makes his way to the ring. Mox comes through the crowd to his New Japan music. Some mind games to start between the two, but Mox gains the upper hand and wraps Naito's legs around the ring post. Backdrop on the announce table, and Mox gets on top of Naito and delivers some punches, but then he just goes back into the ring, lies down, and lets Naito recover. Why? I have no idea. It makes no sense. But it doesn't matter, as Mox slaps on an STF and then hits a pile driver. Naito keeps spitting at Mox over and over again. It's really weird. But Mox keeps beating him up. Backdrop suplex for a 2 count. They slap each other around. Some back rakes by Mox. Headbutts. And then Mox takes a bump to the outside, where we get a sloppy spear spot by Naito. Back in the ring, we get a neck breaker and a 2 count. This is a very slow match. As you can tell, just me reading it is fucking boring as shit. Naito seems he couldn't be bothered to be there. He's just going through the motions. Actually, both of the boys just seem they're going through the motions. Powerbomb off the top rope from Mox for a 2 count. DDT from Naito. Both men are laying down on the mat, but there's no count from the referee. Let's see. Naito with a Kurt Angle-sized booger on his nose. Destino, his finishing move, but there's no cover. What is going? And also, Moxley hits a paradigm shift as well with no cover. What the fuck is going on tonight with this pay-per-view? There's been, like, I swear to God, I can count in 9 matches, we can count on 2 hands the number of pinfall attempts. It's absolutely ridiculous. What happens after that? Yeah, my notes here are saying that there's no fire or drive from either one of these people. It's just a slow, sloppy, shitty match. We see a big clothesline and a Death Rider from Mox for a 2 count. He sets up a chair in the ring. The referee takes it away. We see another botched move, another sloppy sequence before a brain buster on Mox and another Destino by Naito, and we get the 1, 2, 3 for a new IWGP champion. Holy fuck. When I thought Mercedes Moné and Stephanie Vacker couldn't get any worse, fucking they give me this dog shit. I'm going to give it the same amount of stars as the other one, though. 1.5. My God. Next. Okay, time for the main event, match number 10. It is for the AEW World Championship. It is Will Ospreay versus Swerve Strickland. Will Ospreay gets a big pop on his entrance. Swerve does not. What happened? I thought this guy was over. This crowd has been dead and shitty all night, but honestly, I don't blame them. It hasn't been that great of a show. But neither man in the start, neither gets the advantage. After a collar and elbow tie-up, they exchange elbows back and forth, and then both of the boys start showing out. Holy shit. The athleticism on display wakes the crowd up in a hurry. They are chanting. They are loud. I'm on the edge of my seat. I know that. There's more mind games being played, and I gotta say, Will Ospreay's kip-up is nothing short of insane. It is so smooth and beautiful. It's just something to behold. Let's see. Will Ospreay, he's really good at getting the cameraman and the crowd involved as well. This man is just full of charisma. We see a springboard backflip and an enziguri all in the same motion. I mean, come on. A standing Hurricane Rana off the guardrail. Easy peasy for this man. Everything just looks so good. Swerve does get some offense in with a nice looking backbreaker. Both men exchange elbows again. Then we see in an amazing sequence from both guys, which sees a powerbomb / AJ Styles combo at the end for a pinfall for a 2 count. We also see angle slam off the top rope to Will Ospreay. Holy shit, then we see a Swerve stomp from the top rope to the outside onto the announce table, which doesn't break, by the way. And then we see a pile driver from Swerve on Will Ospreay on top of the barricade. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, these guys are going out. We have a couple of Oz cutters, 2 counts. We get a Starbreaker, 2 count. Swerve counters the Tiger Driver, and we see a ref bump. Don Callis comes out, and then he hands Will Ospreay a screwdriver, but he throws it away. And because he does that, Swerve catches him off guard, nails him with a Swerve stomp for a 2 count. Another Swerve stomp, 2 count, house call, 2 count, another house call, big pressure driver, 1, 2, 3, Swerve Strickland wins an amazing match. Holy shit. My only complaint is that Will Ospreay may have looked too indestructible. Probably should have sold the pile driver off the barricade and that Swerve stomp to the announce table a little bit more. But all that being said, great match, great athleticism, 4 1/4 stars to finish off this pay-per-view. Overall, between all the scores, this pay-per-view has an average star rating of 2.5 stars. Not great. 10 matches, 3 were watchable. The main event, Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. and the ladder match. Everything else was hot dog shit. So there you go. There's your rating, review, and rundown for the Forbidden Door 2024. We'll see you for Money in the Bank. Wrestling fans, if you liked what you saw in this video, please go to our Patreon account. Link is here at the bottom of the screen. For only $3 US a month, you can get our full episodes as they're released early. You can see extra content not seen on our YouTube and TikTok channels and a whole